So yesterday was there was a barrage of missiles. I think it was the most fired missiles from Hezbollah into Israel. Over 250 missiles were fired in the morning. Um, 9 a.m. in the morning, it started going off, and we're looking at our application, and we have an application on our phone that alerts us just as the sirens. It's a siren application. I have two of them on my phone. I have one that is set to the whole country, so that I'm aware of every missile fired or every UAV, every aircraft that enters into Israeli airspace. But then I have a second one that is set only on three locations. It's set on wherever I am by GPS, which is not accurate all the time anymore. They block the GPS signals here to throw off the UAVs when they cross the border. So if you go to use maps or Waze or these kind of things, your phone will register that you're in Beirut at the airport, Beirut airport. So getting around without, I don't know how we did it. How did we do that? How did we get around without without GPS? I have just sort of this innate sense of direction always, and always have had. I attribute that to where I grew up, where I had mountains to the east and the ocean to the west of me, and so in a corridor, sort of a valley corridor. So I always knew, just where the sun was. I always knew where I was, but that has seemed to lock some kind of internal compass in my head, and my wife is always amazed. We could be in Manila, Philippines, in Navotas, way back when, and I just always had a sense of north, south, east, and west. It's been sort of my superhero power. No, no, but it has helped. But at any rate, yesterday, when the 9 o'clock barrage was about 20 minutes east of here. It's what we call the finger, to the east side of Israel, us being on the northern border, so the east northern border, or the northern Galilee, as it is referred to on the Confrontation line. I'm central. So I'm right in the middle. Now, this is not, when I say central, I'm not talking about there's folks that live on the west coast of the United States and the east coast, and I'm central time. No, central, we're talking about a span from one side to the other that's about 48 miles. So, when I say it was on the eastern border, it's, like 20 minutes from me. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, the barrage went off. Our phones are going off, buzz, 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 and I have different tone settings for for if it's in my neighborhood or if it's a ways from me, and it's going off, and we instantly look at the phone, and just to give you an idea, if you do follow those. The dots on the map that are not indications of how many missiles are being fired. One dot could be a barrage of 20 missiles. Matter of fact, we have other applications that send us data up here on the north, in the north, and one siren wasn't one siren. One instance of a siren was, and there were like 25 instances. One of them was 28 different towns, and each one of those could have multiple missiles being fired at them. And so at 9 o'clock in the morning, it was in the far east, 20 minutes away from us. And then 10 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden it went off again. And now it had moved in to where it was about 5 minutes from us, 5-minute drive. And these are windy, curved roads, so it's very close. And as you'll see in the video, at the 10 o'clock hour, when the barrage was just, let's say, 5 miles east of us, a lot of the missiles that were being fired right over the hill, like 2 miles north of me is where they were being fired at. And one of the missiles was shot. It must have just been nicked, or because it was spiraling in the air on flame, and that's what you're going to see in the video. And it was right over our heads, slightly to the northeast of us. And I was videotaping this, and as you'll hear in the video, you can hear my phone going bzz, bzz, bzz. I'm videotaping it with my phone, and you can hear it going bzz, bzz, bzz. Every one of those buzzes is that application saying another missile has been launched. And then you also hear the explosions. And every one of those explosions are either a missile being launched so close that I can hear it, or a missile landing so close that I can hear it. And you hear the explosions. But I'm leaning out my living room window, looking, aiming my camera upward toward the northeast of here. I mean, like right over there. And I'm asking, what the heck is that thing? And it hovered for a long time before it plummeted and or disappeared. But you could see that it was a rocket that was nicked, and it circled for a little bit, and then it's just losing power, and it's just sitting in one spot. I'm not sure by the angle. Maybe it was moving, but I just had a direct line where, if something's coming at you, you don't know. You don't know if it's just sitting still because it's, maintains the distance, or it appears to maintain its elevation and distance, and it slowly goes down. But let's take a look at that.
I don't know. Holy crap. There's another one. What the heck are these? There's a bunch of them coming. Or that's us. I don't know. I haven't heard this sound. Holy crap. I don't know what that was. Something. It's gonna start falling. It's gonna start falling. Yeah, it's just all those booms and alarms. What the heck is it?
That was the video. And the reason I was sharing this is I sent this to my nephew, and it was also brought up on the news today. I was on the I-24 channel news today, interviewed because of the barrage that took place yesterday. Again, 250 rockets were fired from Lebanon by Hezbollah into Israel. In, I don't know, 250 rockets in, I don't know, 4 or 5. We can look that up. 4 or 5 barrages. So it's a lot of missiles. And my nephew, I sent that video to my nephew, and I'm just saying, what is this thing? And he's listening to all the buzzes on the phone, buzz, 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 and knowing those are launches. And he's listening to all the explosions that you're catching, that my iPhone it's not even an iPhone, it's an Android. That was not a plug for Apple. It's a very nice Samsung. But you're hearing all these explosions all around me, and he says, how do you live like that? How can you live with that? This is 8 months in. It's a strange question to ask 8 months in. That's every day. I mean, that was an extraordinary, no, I wouldn't say extraordinary. That was an added amount of rockets being fired at us. By the way, a half hour later, we were in the bomb shelter because the next barrage was right here in our town. we thought that they were launched at 9 o'clock, then 10 o'clock. So we were expecting they were going from east to west, and we knew that what you see in the video is 5 miles from me is where they're landing. And we knew that at 11 we were going to be the next target. Well, they jumped the gun early, and we were the next target at somewhere around 10:31 a.m. So that one I didn't catch on video because I was in a bomb shelter. That's a whole nother story. But my nephew says, how can you live like that? I was asked that question 3 times yesterday and once this morning so far on the news. How can you live like that? I wish I would have said on the news what I told my nephew, that I don't know an alternative to living. And I said that, it's you pray and you live. And that's it. And I said, it's really no different than any other time in my life. And I think folks can resonate with this. You're always going through a struggle. I've always gone through a struggle. Even in successful times, you're trying to maintain those times, and that's a fight. And I said that this period in my life is no different than any other time in my life. It's just extremely more focused. You pray and you live, and you prepare for the bad days, and you hope you appreciate the good days. And you try to find the adventure in the mundane. So I've always, strived to be good, or at least better, and that usually requires repentance and surrender. It requires hope or hopefulness, right? You attempt to accentuate the positive and minimize the negatives, and you build on opportunities that present themselves. And you try to make your wife happy. It's no different now. It's just more focused. I have a pretty good idea what a bad day looks like and what is required to prepare for that, at least to the best that I can. As I said, it's just more focused. And you certainly recognize good days far more than maybe I had outside of a war zone. I recognize good days, and in that way I appreciate them more, and that makes preparation for bad days like I said, the third thing is that you try to find the adventure out of the mundane, and the adventure that adventure can be in the mundane times the preparation for potential bad days, like retrofitting bomb shelters or target practice. Dealing with the wildlife that has moved back into town. You kill snakes with a sword and boars with a bow. You can't shoot a gun here. You might start off a war or kick off a war, right? So, and most importantly, try to keep your wife happy.